Welcome back to the green room. We here with another dope episode, man. We got another real dope individual here today. And we got some good topics, man. But before we get into that, the most important question of the day, of course, is how everybody feeling? How y'all doing? What kind of headspace everybody in right now?
We feeling good, It's Sunday. The weather's nice,
You look cool in here. I thought I could have taken off my hoodie.
It is.
I gotta keep that on. But how you doing, man?
Oh man, I'm good, brother. I'm blessed.
You good?
Just happy to be here. Thank y'all for having me on. Talk a little bit.
Definitely, man. So before we get started, I want you to just go ahead and introduce yourself and just.
Absolutely, man. My name is Naylor. I am the CEO of Aside of Black Media. We pretty much, do a lot of media propulsion. Anyone who has content that they want to put out, we sometimes help them tailor that content. So we help them build what it is, and we push off, or we help them build what it is, and we stay intact, and just kind of release their content under our brand.
Right. Well, that's what's up, man. So we gonna definitely take a deep dive into that. You know what I'm saying? But before we get into that, we're just gonna talk about a few things that have been, going on in the world. Kind of caught my attention, So one of the first things I seen, it's been happening in a few places. You kind of put me on point to this, so I'm gonna let you go ahead and introduce that. Let us know what's going on with that.
So if I put you on point to it, then we're probably talking about the train derailments that have been happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course, a lot of people know about the one that was in Ohio, or a lot of people may not know because there hasn't been an extreme amount of news coverage, So if you're not on social media, then you may not know what's going on. Just like I was telling you, there was one in South Carolina that almost a week ago, we're just not.
Yeah, I didn't even know about that one until you had seen that shit to me. But it's crazy though, man. Like, in instances like that, how they can keep it so low in the media, like Malcolm X had like a quote about, how things are presented in the media. I don't know it exactly, so I don't even want to try to say it, but it's just geared toward how things are presented in the media and how they can pretty much shift the shit, make it look however they want it to look at any given time. You know what I'm saying? But one of the craziest things about it is like a chemical cloud or something forming over Ohio. You have seen it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I've been watching all of it. The one in Ohio, the one in upstate New York, and the one here in South Carolina. To piggyback off of what you said about the way the media is controlled, you have to look at who controls the government in those regions. In Ohio, here, and in upstate New York, it's all Republican controlled.
Right.
And because a lot of those regulations that would have prevented a lot of the stuff were rolled back by Republicans, and I know it's not a political thing, it's not a political show.
I'm a little bit closer to the mic.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's not a political show, so that is why you're dealing with a lot of stuff you're dealing with. And because they control the media, they can say, okay, we don't want this to air. We don't want this under wraps. Anything they got to do with this, bury it.
But now, because we have social media, as much as they want to bury it, it's just not really happening right now. Like, I've seen so many, for example, I was looking at a video not too long ago where this lady who lived there was boiling water that came out of her faucet. And when it started to bubble, it was creating some sort of white substance. And, and I've seen people go to the lakes and show how all of the fish are dead. They're showing how their cattle are so, they're not putting this stuff on the news, but like I said, if you're on social media, then you have a pretty good idea as to what's going on. So I think that's going to push them to actually do something because they just can't.
Well, actually,
it's not happening right now.
Actually, I just seen something that said the Biden administration turned down a request for assistance to them for that. So that's kind of crazy because they just give Ukraine another $65 billion or something like that. I mean, I am the most political motherfucker myself, but I be, you see certain things when you're on social media. I mean, even certain things you ain't follow, shit just come across your feed sometimes, So I be seeing a lot of this stuff, and I look at a lot of the money that they give overseas and just really put it in perspective based on what we got going on over here, and it's crazy for you because this happened one time before in New Orleans, and I was kind of directly impacted by it. Not really, more indirectly impacted by it because my family from down there. So you can kind of see how they just kind of bullshit when it comes to what's going on in the homeland versus what's going on overseas. But that shit crazy.
Right. And it's like if they don't do something with this now, this is easily going to turn into like another Flint situation. Like these people are just not going to have access to clean water.
Well, what happened in Flint? It happened in Jackson, Mississippi. Like that's one of the things Deion Sanders talked about. He been dealing with when he was a coaching down there.
So this is going to be fixed. It'll be fixed within a month's time. And here's why: the communities that surround that derailment are white communities.
Right.
They may be lower middle class white communities, but they still white communities. So
right.
while they don't want it, in the newspapers or they don't want it running at the top of the news segment, they gonna fix it,
right?
Because those are white families. Those are mostly Republican counties that they're impacting. So yeah, they'll have it fixed within about a month or so.
I seen somebody say it was a movie, like exactly the way that happened, like in the exact city and everything.
I saw that. I did.
The exact same city and everything. Train derailment, the toxic shit going in the air, all of that bullshit. Like they say it was like exactly the way that shit happened. So it's kind of crazy sometimes when you look at it, like. I be smoking, so I be on my conspiracy stuff sometimes. I be watching. I like, hold up, nah. They try to tell y'all before they even did this, But yeah, nah, that shit be crazy. So yeah, that's why. Hopefully, the boys get the help they need out there.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's easy for that. Once the air contaminated, the water contaminated,
the ground, everything is just
like,
contaminated.
What you supposed to do?
Yeah, we gonna see.
Yeah. So one of the other things I seen going on right now. It's a lot of crazy shit going on, you know what I'm saying? And you get to see all of this stuff so fast it make you kind of numb to it, like one crazy thing will happen and you like, oh shit, but you just wait. You scroll about 2 more minutes and it gonna be some other shit and you gonna forget about the last shit you just see. Like, yeah, it's wild out here. But another one of the things I seen along them lines of things being kind of hidden in the media, they've been shooting a lot of shit out of the air. Recently,
and they telling us, and I'm like, that they doing it.
They had the little spy balloon, like we don't really know what that was about either. And so they shot that shit down right around here, like off the coast.
Yeah,
I know somebody who lives near the beach, like personally, who had she could see them shooting it down from her window, and I'm just like,
Damn. So they recently shot something down over Alaska. I believe they really shot something down over Lake Huron,
Michigan.
Yeah, so it's and it's a couple other ones too, and there ain't really a lot of coverage about that in the media either. So it just kind of leads you to wonder, like, what the fuck is really going on in the world right now? Like.
So I think that first one was China doing some snaky shit. That's what I think.
Yeah, China did respond to that shit too.
I think everything after that was kind of more so happenstance and folks being bored. Like the one they shot down over Lake Huron, I think I read somewhere that it was a group of climate change deniers who raised the balloon up just to mess with the Biden administration, right? And they shot that down. I think if people really wanted to just do some stupid stuff, we have access to all the tools. Me and you can go to Home Depot and get what we need to send a balloon 50,000 feet up in the air and then have them shoot it down. So I do think the first one was, it was something going on there. But after that, it's just kind of happenstance of what's going on. I don't think it's no kind of movement where China starting to send a whole bunch of balloons over.
Right. I mean, and China released a statement, like not verbatim, but they was like, hey, nah, like, why y'all touching our shit, bro? Like, like y'all been flying shit over here forever. We ain't mess with y'all shit. They like, why y'all shoot our shit down, bro? Like, yeah, they felt real disrespected by that though. They say they gonna have a little discussion about what they gonna do about that too.
What I want though is I want the U.S. government to be honest about what it was that they found, because there are so many different reports. Some people say, okay, so it was a balloon equipped with technology to take pictures of military bases and send them back to China. And then some are saying, well, this was strictly a weather balloon, right? So that they can gauge a couple things and it kind of got blown off course.
Right.
And those two stories are coming both from within our government. So be real with us. Tell us what it is so we can know if we have a need to be scared or not.
They not gonna be real with us. I don't think they are, because
dying in their repertoire.
Yeah.
Honesty. Fuck no, especially not in the media. You know what I'm saying? Because media controlled by money, man. Like people unaware of like the real power coming advertising, bro. Like advertising dollars really control the fucking world. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely. Lobbying for certain products and all of that other bullshit, like that shit control the world. You know, like if you in a position of power and they tell you, hey, we want you to lobby for this, or if this happened, we want you to say this. Like you could really die if you don't say what the fuck they like. That shit really what it is. You know what I'm saying? But it's crazy. They say the one that was shot down over Carolina been like the size of two buses, 2 city buses or something like that.
It was big. It was big because it had a satellite array attached to it. I'm not sure if you saw pictures before they shot it down, but if you look at the bottom of it, there was a whole satellite array attached to it where they can send and receive signals, send and receive readings from it. It was pretty big.
Yeah.
I want to see it. I didn't see it. Now I'm gonna go looking for it.
Dang. Yeah, I seen some, but all of the ones I seen, it was too far to really gauge the size of it. So it just kind of looked like a balloon, like an audio balloon from the distance that most people been capturing images of it. But it's just too hard now. Like it's too hard for them to try to hide shit. Right? Yeah. Like what other choice do you have now if people are seeing this shit with their own eyes?
Right.
Like we got camera phones and social media.
Right. Like back in the day, it literally just took too long for word to spread back in the day. By the time you see something and they know you seen it, they can get their message out there way before you can tell somebody that gonna have to tell somebody that gonna have to tell somebody. Like, nah, they get that shit all the way out there. Like, so it's. I don't really see no other route besides honesty, but you know that ain't the route they're gonna take. But that's why the power more in our hands now.
It is. And I think that, because I feel like, we used to find out a lot on social media before, but I think TikTok just made it even faster, because somebody can put a video out and they can have 1 million views in an hour.
And they trying to shut that down because they say that's controlled by Chinese government.
Or they don't like the fact that so much information is being spread to other people at such a fast rate. Like
it's too fast. By the time they catch it and they say, "Oh, we don't want this out there," 1 million people done seen it, screen recorded it, got dang on screenshot, reposting it. You got 167,000 reposts on them. Like now, you just got a whole lot more work to do. Like
exactly, I think it's more of the latter. What you said. I think that the government, for so long was in control of what it is that you saw and what it is that you heard. And now it's a situation where you make a video and it has 1 million views in under an hour, and they are having trouble kind of controlling, because they'll say, hey, it's China spying on us throughout the algorithms or the subroutines of the program. But it's not really that. It's the fact that they want to control what it is that you're seeing and what it is that you're hearing. And they can't do that with TikTok and Instagram and Twitter and all these things where you can just go and share the video and just let it do what it do. So I think it's that.
Yeah, man. I don't think a lot of people are aware of these apps. Like, if you don't completely close that app or stop it from running, your microphone's still on. Your camera's still hot.
You wanna know what's crazy? I was just looking at this girl's video about how she was saying how she bought a toothbrush. She didn't buy it online. She didn't tell anybody about it. She didn't post about it. She didn't do any of that. She was just in Target and just thought it was a cool toothbrush. She bought it. It died, so she threw it out. And she was like, right after that, she got online and started seeing crazy ads about the toothbrush. Yeah. And she was like, she never searched for it. She never did any, because it was just a toothbrush. It wasn't that big of a deal. But, she was just basically saying as soon as she got on her phone.
Right. And I don't want to go too far in the conspiracy rabbit hole here. I did smoke on the way here, though. So, but they're trying to create artificial intelligence to kind of keep up with internet traffic, right? To try to keep tabs on what people saying, and it's like hot words and different things that this artificial intelligence is automatically attracted to, right? To try to keep off the internet. But the thing with the artificial intelligence is literally becoming, it has a mind of its own. Like they can't control the growth of it, or they can't control what it learns. Like it literally just keep learning and keep teaching itself different stuff to the point where it literally would seem like it has control of its own thoughts or emotions or something like that at a certain point. So
I believe that what you're describing is them trying to create a system of control. I think that's going to be important, especially to the top 1% and 2%. Control is going to be important as far as what everyone else sees and what everyone else hears, to keep up the facade that middle class and poor white people should remain on the side of the elite, should remain on the side of the rich, versus siding with people who are like them, who live in the same area as them. I think that what you're describing, that AI is going to filter what it is that you see and what it is that you hear, so that they can maintain the status quo.
Right. My bad, y'all. I got another guest. I'm trying to communicate with him real quick. But yeah, man, that shit crazy, man. Like them boy, they can see us, they can hear what you're doing. You get your new phone with your new updated cameras and all the bullshit. You got to realize it's a lot that you're giving up when you get these things. And so moving on, man, we're going to go into the reason we here today. Black excellence, man. Black excellence. Clap it up. Ooh, you know what I'm saying? So black excellence is when we get into, just things that we see around us, man. Black creators and business owners and entrepreneurs that's really doing their thing, man. So I'm going to let you just go ahead, reintroduce yourself and let the people know exactly everything that you got going on right now, and we're going to dive into it based off of what you're talking about.
Absolutely, man. Again, my name is Naylor. Just call me Naylor. My first name is just, I don't use it. My name is Naylor. I am the CEO of A Side of Black Media. I started A Side of Black Media back in 2014 with one singular podcast, with 3 of my friends, and kind of took off. We kind of did our thing for a while before we ultimately stopped doing it in 2019. But somewhere along the line, I fell in love with the creation process.
Right.
So I started producing other people's podcasts. And then we got to the point where we were doing podcast consultations. So now it's kind of a thing where we're able to help you craft and create your podcast, but then kind of just send you off to do your thing, versus helping you craft and create your podcast, but then letting you fly underneath the Side of Black Media umbrella. The first iteration of the network was about 7 shows.
Right.
7 audio shows, and then 2 visual shows was the first iteration of the network, which we kind of put on hold around the pandemic time, right? Because it was kind of hard to get together with folks, record content. Like we kind of got together and did stuff. So we kind of put that on hold. But the next iteration of the network is launching sometime late spring, early summer, where we'll have 10 podcasts and 5 visual or web-based shows. So we're coming back again, and we've learned some things from the first time of how to market, how to do revenue sharing when it comes to getting some revenue drawn in from the show, sponsorships, things like that. So
the mad dollars, man.
Yeah, absolutely. The network is launching. So around the time that we stopped doing the network, I've always been a writer. So around the time we stopped the network, I started writing just little things that I wanted to do, and it ended up turning into a screenplay. So I actually ended up writing a screenplay.
Okay.
And I submitted it to a few consultants, and they helped me touch it up here and there, some things where there were some holes. And I kind of was just playing around with it, just kind of doing things when I was bored. But after a few folks read it and said, hey, this is good, you should, So I went after some funding. I submitted it to a few places and sought some grants, and I ended up getting 2 of them, right? So I ended up creating a $10,000 budget for a project. So we did casting. We got 15 people that are a part of the cast. So we're gonna shoot a film in about 3 weeks.
Oh man!
Shoot a film in about 3 weeks called Vengeful. It's a fictional suspense thriller type. And that's kind of where my attention has been, right, over the past 2 years. Once I saw that it was viable, once I saw that it was good enough,
right.
So A Side of Black Media is so many things. podcast creation, web series creation, podcast consultation, short films, web series, and now a film, right?
Right.
So I guess my thought to myself was, how do we take all of that, right? How do we take all of that and put it in the same location? And the only thing I could think of was to create a network for not only myself and my projects, but other creators and their projects.
Right.
Because it's a lot easier for someone to get their product noticed when they're in the company of other Black creators. It's really hard to get someone to put eyes on your project and say, hey, I want to invest in that.
Right.
You're doing it on your own versus when you with 4 or 5 other people that would call someone and say, hey, well, we got 4 or 5 shows in this location. Let's go here and we're going to watch a few of them and see if it works. So the goal with the network, of course, is to create a revenue sharing initiative where someone says, just for example, right? Someone says, we want to advertise on your show, but I also notice you have another show on your network that we want to advertise on too.
Right.
So it's kind of like, hey, we got person A advertising on this show, but here's what we're going to do. We're going to give them the larger percentage of the take, but because your show's on the network, we're going to give you a percentage of it too. So
Right.
that kind of situation.
So you the owner of the
Yes.
whole?
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right. So that's a Geppetto. Like you
Yeah,
dealing
so-
with a lot of things. Yeah, man. So what all did it take to really? So you the owner of it all. What all did it take to really bring all of those different people together to create what you got going on? Because you see, you had what, 7 podcasts going at one time?
Yeah, so that was the first iteration of the network. We had Side of Black Podcast, Clitterference, Trap Nerd Chronicles. So it was like 7 podcasts, and then
Right.
2 visual series I kind of created and shot on my own. So yeah, it was 9 total.
9 altogether?
Yeah. So I think that excuse me.
You good? I seen a lot of networks popping up lately because you got like Black Effect. Joe Budden created a network where he got different podcasts on it, and I always kind of wanted to know like the mechanics behind it, like because I know it's certain podcasts that's with multiple networks, like Drink Champs with Revolt and with somebody else and with somebody else. Like I think they got 3 different deals, 2 for video, 1 for audio. So I always wanted the mechanics behind like how people like.
So it's different. Like, I'm not gonna go too deep, but it's different when you're talking about individuals who already have a following. So a lot of the folks that we work with are individuals who don't have, like, they're starting from ground level.
Just jumping into it.
Right, jumping into it. So it's more so with a Joe Budden or with a Drink Champs, these guys, these are former hip hop artists.
Yeah.
So they already have a following. So all they gotta do is go to Revolt and say, hey, I want to start a show.
Right.
I want 300K for 2 seasons, right?
Right.
They have the pool to say that.
Yeah. Let me get me.
But if Shamika over here wants to start a show about fashion, right?
Right.
And she has her followers on Instagram that's like 860, right? She doesn't have what they have. So that kind of person would say, hey, I want to start a show. So we would come and, myself and 2 other consultants that I work with would come together and say, hey, well, what's your vision?
Right.
What do you want to do? What is your product now? Where do you want to get it to? So that we can kind of create a blueprint and say, well, we know you can't pay us. We get that, right?
Right.
So here's what we're going to do. We're going to help you. We're going to blueprint your show for you, right? And then you can do 1 or 2 things. You can take your show and you can go do it on your own. We helped you get it off the ground. You don't owe us nothing. Just go.
Right.
Or we can help you create your show. We can give you branding for your show. We can give you a platform for your show. We can put your show on our network. Any kind of advertising opportunities that we have, we're going to include you in it.
Right.
For a percentage of the revenue that you get back off of your show.
Of course.
So that's the kind of thing that we would do. Take individuals who don't have that push, who don't have that name, to create that opportunity for them, so that whenever it is that they have some sort of funding that comes back, we're going to say, hey, well, we're going to get paid for our time by taking 25% of your revenue.
Right.
The other 75 is yours. I think to answer your original question, what does it take? It just takes creativity. It just takes people that are creative, that want to create and that want to put out. Because I think everyone has a niche. Everyone has a source of creativity that's in them.
Right.
And nothing showed you that more than the pandemic, right? The pandemic showed people that they can use their creativity to make money.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you had the boom of podcasts, you had the boom of web series, you had the boom of these online content creators, fashion. What do they call fashion? What's the word?
What, influencers?
There you go. Yeah. Fashion influencers, restaurant influencers. So around the pandemic is when you had people learning that they can use their creativity in order to make money. Mm-hmm. So it just took people saying, hey, well, I want to do something, whether it's in front of the camera or behind the camera. I want to do something. How do I do it?
Right.
And my people that work with me behind the camera are just folks that say, hey, you know what? I want to be involved. I'm not an in front of the camera person. Me personally, I'm not an in front of the camera person.
Right.
So it just took meeting like-minded folks who want to do things behind the scenes so we can help folks who want to do things in front of the scene, and we can all get what we need to get from there.
Right. Yeah, man. So with dealing with all the different, because I know we're dealing with different people. You got different temperaments. This person got attitudes. He don't. He get hungry at 3:00. He like green M&Ms in the morning. So we're dealing with that. Like, how is it staying level-headed, or having to be the one that's always level-headed, just bringing different people together, or do everybody just? Is it cool with everybody working together? Like, I know you bump heads.
You definitely have different temperaments and different attitudes, and you have to learn people's moods, like when they want to be involved, when they don't want to be involved. You got to kind of give them their space. I think that just comes with learning people, like talking to them and knowing them. And there are a few people who I work with where I can tell when they having a bad day. And if it's not pressing, if it's not something that I need answered right then, I'm gonna just let it walk for a little while, and then we'll circle back to it.
Right.
Not having a good day.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just kind of knowing people and learning them. And when you work with someone, like when we would get together, kind of similar to what you all do, because you were on Click Ferris, right? So we would get together on a Saturday or a Sunday, and we would shoot 4 or 5 shows at a time. Right. So when you with somebody for 8 hours on a Saturday, you kind of learn what it is that they want to do and how they work. So it's just kind of knowing people. And I've always been kind of even keeled. Like, I'm not really a rah person. I'm not really a passive aggressive person. Right. When I see you feeling a certain way, I'm gonna let you have it. And then we'll circle back and we'll deal with it later.
That's all people be needing sometimes.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
And today, people becoming more and more comfortable with expressing, like, I'm feeling depressed, or I'm saying, I'm having a little bit of anxiety, or I'm saying, dealing with all them things. So it's a good thing that's even becoming a thing too now, where people are comfortable with having them conversations. So that make it easier to work with, man. And so you say short films. It's another thing you do. You got any out right now that people can tap into, or like?
So there's everything that we have right now is in post production. So we have 2 short films right now that are in post production. One of my buddies from Verizon actually wrote them. We helped him produce them. We helped him cast them. We helped them. We actually shot them for him. Excuse me a second. We actually shot them for him.
Yeah.
They're both in post production right now, so they're actually not out. The only visuals that we still have up, because we purged a lot of the content after what we deemed the end of the first iteration of our network. We purged a lot of the content. The only thing that's still up right now is King Speak. King Speak is a conversation amongst 5 or 6 black men. So we pulled together, I think King Speak 1 was 4 black men from different walks of life, different sexual orientations, and we kind of just had conversations in regards to the daily life and the daily struggle, the daily grind of being a black man in the U.S. That one is still up. That was up on our YouTube channel. 1 and 2 are up on our YouTube channel. But that one is something that's near and dear to my heart, simply because that was my idea. And I kind of just wanted to be able to give brothers a chance to be able to talk,
Right.
without feeling any kind of judgment, because, and that's, I don't want to start no mess, but in today's society, as a black man, you ain't shit, right?
Right.
From every direction,
right.
You ain't shit until you go get something, but then you gotta keep in mind you still ain't shit, because even if you got it, it's everywhere that you go, there's kind of a negative connotation that comes with being a black man.
Definitely.
So that one's kind of near and dear to my heart, because I just wanted to get 4 or 5 brothers in a room, right, and just speak, candidly, unfiltered about what it is that you're experiencing. So that one's up, and y'all can go check that out on my YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm. All right, so with making a short film, like how do you even get into the headspace of, like, have you been around people that have done it before you jump into it, or was you just chilling one day feeling creative, like, you know what, I'm gonna make a fucking movie, man, like, this what I feel like doing?
So the one that we're shooting in 2 weeks isn't a short film, it's a feature film. It's 110 minutes long.
Oh, damn.
The script is 150 some odd scenes, 15 characters. So it's a feature film.
Bunch of different locations too?
We're shooting in about 7 or 8 different locations now.
Okay.
Over a week and a half.
You saying the A?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So we're shooting in A. A larger portion of our cast is there. That's why.
Right.
Because Atlanta's kind of a black hub for entertainment.
Yeah.
A lot of your new actors. We have 3 people that are actually seasoned actors that are Screen Actors Guild affiliated. Like they're actual, they belong to the union. But the majority of our folks are based in Atlanta, so we're shooting there and we're gonna do our premiere there and all that stuff. But to get back to your original question, I think, like I said before, creativity kind of blossomed, right, in our community around the time of the pandemic.
Right.
You kind of just had people sitting at home,
just trying shit. I was
just
bored.
trying shit. And at a point in time, you come to the point when you say, "Why not me?
Right.
Why can't I do this?"
You get that response, man. Like, people just sit home and try something, just kind of throw it on the internet, because you got that ability now to just do it and just kind of just throw it out. Let me see what people say if I do this. So
Right.
People get that reaction, and they're like, you know what? I think I might try this out.
Absolutely. So yeah, man. It's just the drive to create and the drive to put something out that has your stamp on it. I think everybody here, like, it's sitting in this room, everybody wants to create something that they can say, I created or I helped create that.
Right.
So that's basically what it is. Just
So that's
wanting to
what's up.
create.
Okay. Now, Naylor, tell us, where are we going to be able to see this movie when it does come out?
So right now we have two places where you're going to be able to see it. One is Tubi, and the other is Amazon Prime. Those are the 2 places we've gotten green lights from in order to put the film on.
See, Prime gonna set you apart. Now they be hating on Tubi,
Well, you
but
know what?
Tubi's still a good. He's still a good location. Though. It's a lot of shit on there.
Yeah, and people talking about Tubi now because of their Super Bowl commercial. I'm not sure if y'all saw
Yeah.
it. So,
I've been like, where the hell the remote? Trying to see what goddamn come on, Eagles on now.
Everybody figured, I definitely like, who sat on the remote? What's going on there?
What's going on?
so, I mean, that's still a good look. People are over Netflix right now anyway because they always changing stuff. So,
And I come across things on Tubi because they everything algorithm based nowadays. So I be watching like old black shit on Tubi because they be having like some of the old shit on there. So I go in there like Steve Harvey show. I be like, damn, I see Steve Harvey show in a minute. Fall asleep on Steve Harvey show, wake up, somebody else movie on. I'm like, dang, what is this? You know what I mean? You just get into it just. Because it just come up behind the last thing, or whatever.
So somebody might be sitting in their house watching your film like, who's this,
Just getting into that algorithm. Just
Right.
getting into the algorithm is really all you need to do. Once you get in there, it's like,
So we have that, and then we have another. It's actually a web series. It's an episodical in pre-production right now. So that one will probably be out sometime in September. We're going to shoot that in June. Right now, everything is focused on the film. That's priority 1. When we get through with that, we'll get back to network stuff, and we'll get back to shooting the episodic that we're going to release sometime in the fall.
all right. So one more question I wanted to ask you about that. So I heard you reference grants, like getting grants earlier for funding. And then you talked about having like a couple seasoned actors or people like a part of that, like actor union or, whatever technical term. But So, as far as paying everybody, right, making sure everybody get paid.
Right.
I know that's
Yeah.
that'd be one of them when you got to sit back at the end of the day and run the numbers. So
yeah.
how was like, because this your first time dealing with that?
Yeah, this was my first time dealing with that, and just I'm sorry. I want you to ask your question before I answer. What was the question?
So I just was gonna ask, how was it handling that, like especially with it being your first time? Just
Oh man, it was tough. You know, a lot of the newer actors, you know, you'll say, hey, you know, we're gonna pay you a daily rate. We're gonna pay you a daily rate of $150. A lot of new actors say, okay, cool, that's good, that works for me. I'm just trying to break in.
Right.
But then you have the people that are, you know, guild affiliated. You have people that are not guild affiliated, but they have done work before. Those are the folks that are gonna want to negotiate their contract. And there's one gentleman who ultimately I couldn't pay him, right? I really wanted him to be a part of the project,
Right.
But he was guild affiliated, and he wanted about $900 a day. I ain't got that to give to you. You know, my cap per actor was like $450
Right.
per day, right, of you shooting. So, you know, I came to him. I said, hey, I see your resume. I know you're guild affiliated. You know, you've done a lot of good work. I see all your movies here. I've watched a few of them. You're great. I may not be able to pay you what you command, right? So here's my number. I can pay you $450 a day. I can give you $50 per diem for meals each day. I can make sure you have transport back and forth to set. That's all I can do. He couldn't, you know, he was like, I all that's fine, but I need at least $950 a day.
Woo.
Sir, I hope to see you down the line.
Sometime in the future, you know.
When I have studio funding, I hope to see you at some point because you're an amazing actor, but I can't afford to pay you.
Right.
So it was fun. It was fun,
Right.
you know, negotiating with everybody and getting everybody locked in. The contract portion is hard because you got to have those signed and notarized, and all that's legally binding. So
Because I be hearing some funny stories about contracts, how people, like I said, man, like I want a bowl of green M&Ms in my room when I get there. Like pick all the other M&Ms out, or I want Lucky Charms with only the
Right.
rainbow marshmallows.
So I didn't have any of those issues.
Okay.
You talking about Tony Award winner.
Diva'd out, you know what I'm saying?
I'm talking
Yeah.
about folks that didn't won awards, command that kind of stuff. Like, but you know, the folks that I'm working with, and it's a great cast, all black cast. They're all relatively, you know, between the ages of 30 and 45. I have a great crew as well. I have director of photography, a script supervisor. Everybody is just a joy to work with. It's about 20 of us total. So yeah, it's pretty fun. And the contract stuff, like I said, once all that got out of the way, once we got everybody locked in, and we just focus on the execution of the art, we're having a great time.
That's what's up, man. I know a dude who be acting and stuff too now. He out Spartanburg.
Okay.
I think he done did probably a little short film or two, you know. His name is Akeem Anderson. He a real cool dude. I probably need to tie you up with him, man.
Absolutely, man.
Because he'll definitely be down. I know that.
We're gonna be casting for this episodic series that we're doing that we're shooting in June. So I haven't released anything as far as casting call yet because we're shoring up some of the writing. Some things changed as far as the writing goes that we need to fix. But we are going to be doing a casting call for that particular project here, probably late March. So yeah, I would love the information. Anyone who's looking to get into acting, you know, if you're new to it, or whether you've been in it a while, if you're guild affiliated, that's cool. I can't pay guild rates. The guild rate, the union rate is $1,000 minimum per day. Like you have some people that are bend and flex on that, but if they're a stickler to that, you know, you need your grand a day. I don't have that kind of money yet.
Right.
Soon.
I just want to walk through the background, man. Like just, when a good scene just come pop up, show my face, walk off. You know?
Soon, but not. Yeah. We'll get to where we can pay folks $1,000 a day. We ain't there yet.
Right. Nah, yeah, that's what's up, man. That's what's up, man. I wish I was tremendous success with that shit.
I appreciate that.
I already know it's gonna go. I mean, if you get a bunch of black people together, a lot of people feel like always some bullshit that gonna come from that. But in my mind, when I see a lot of black people together, especially the way that I see the world as a creative, when I see a lot of black people together, I just feel like something magical, like literally about to be created, man. So
absolutely, yeah, man.
That's definitely what's up.
I think it matters as long as you have the right folks, around you, folks that are hungry for success, folks that want to again create something that's for them and for people like them. I think that when you get a bunch of those people in a circle, in a room, great things are going to happen.
Right. That's what's up, man. So,
well, thank you for creating that space, Naylor.
Absolutely.
I appreciate you.
Absolutely.
Definitely, man. I know some people, man. Sending me weed, you know what I'm saying? But the last little segment we do here is a segment called Homegrown, where we shout out somebody where we from or just who we know that we also see just doing something dope out here, you know what I'm saying? Just another black person, you know, from wherever you from that's just doing something major. So anybody you got in mind just from where you from or that you they don't gotta be doing the same thing you doing, just anything, you know?
Well, first things first, before I do that, let me just thank y'all, you know, for having me on. I appreciate that. For letting me come in and talk a little bit about what it is that I do. I can't remember the last time I talked about what it is that I do. So normally I'm kind of just operating in that space. So thank y'all for that. As far as shouting anybody out, I'm sorry, one more thing. Let me just shout out my team, everybody that works with me.
Definitely.
My production crew, cast, post-production manager. I'm not going to give y'all names because it's too many. Anybody that's working on the podcast, my social media manager, she's amazing. Everybody, my whole team.
Then let them know where they can find you on all of that stuff too. Everywhere, man. YouTube, Instagram, whatever. You know, we're gonna put all of the ads on the video too.
So I'm gonna just give you the one for Side of Black Media. And
okay.
Here's why: because each page, each program has their own page.
Right.
So a Side of Black. So on Instagram is ASOB Media Group. That stands for a Side of Black Media Group. ASOB Media Group on Instagram and on Facebook. The film, again, that's my heart. That's my baby right now. The film is Vengeful_film. That's where you can find that. I don't do too much interaction on my personal page, so we're not gonna worry about that. But the ASOB Media Group is where you find everything as far as Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. It's our YouTube page where all of our content is. You can go watch any old content we have up. So yeah, but yeah, shout out my crew, shout out my team, shout out everybody. The person that I want to shout out is a young lady by the name of Samantha. She does, I forgot what it's called. So she has a collection of black entrepreneurs, right?
Okay.
And she does this thing called the Buy Melanin Expo, where everyone that sells product is a black creator, right? A black business owner. And she's kind of created this large online directory of where you can find black products in every state. Some of them, like the larger states, have city directories. So shout out to her. She's doing amazing work. Every time I see something from her, I want to kind of boost it and post it because I don't think we have anything. I think we did have something like that, but cost became a thing and they had to shut it down.
Right.
So she's doing that. And shout out to her. She's doing amazing. So yeah, that's it.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. So Ash, you got anybody you want to shout out today?
Somebody that I want to shout out.
Yeah, you know, we gotta just putting the spotlight on our folk, man. You know what I'm saying? I done put you on the spot, huh?
Let me think. I don't know.
Well, now black
I
people doing dope things every day.
I'm gonna shout my nail lady
Your nails
out.
are fire. They fire. So
But she didn't do these. Somebody else in the shop did them, but she trained them up to a point.
I got you.
So where they could keep up. And I can go to anybody in the shop. So if you in Columbia KX Studios, come holler at my girl, okay?
All right,
Tell them Ash sent you. All right.
That's what's up. You know, I be tapped into some folk, man. I'm gonna shout out Puka's Kitchen down in Hollywood, South Carolina. I don't know if you ever heard of them, boy, Puka Kitchen, but we posting them, please, boy, man, gonna go get it, thing. You know what I mean? I be down there from time to time in Hollywood. I don't go down there a lot like that no more, but that's where I'm from, you know. But I know a lot of people from there that's really doing their thing, man. So it's a real small town, Hollywood, and she done got her name out there. Like people probably coming from in the city, just driving down from Charleston just to go to Puka's Kitchen, man. So check her out, some real good soul food. She got that thing going. If you ever go in Charleston.
Oh, I go on Tuesday. I might have to pull up on Puka. What time
Pull
she
up on
close?
Puka Kitchen, man. Just check her IG. She be having her hours and everything right there when she be open. But that thing is, man, just go check her out if you're in the area. So everybody who watching, man, we thank y'all for tapping back in. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on YouTube. Man, stay with us, man, so you can see all the new episodes when they pop out, man. We want to thank you again for stopping
Absolutely,
by.
man. Thank y'all for having me.
Yeah, man. Taste of Black Media.
Side of Black Media.
A side of Black Media. A side of Black Media, man. We got Neela here, so y'all make sure y'all tap in and follow and see what's going on. All of the actors, y'all get into that thing, man. Y'all hit my boy up, man. See what's up. But yeah, man, Green Room, man. We out.